As you wish, please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk.
Dear Lord, we thank you for all the blessings you give us, especially this week as we celebrate the country's founding and our independence. We realize that independence is granted by you, and we ask our recognition of that on this holiday week. We also ask for wisdom and guidance of the decisions that are made here today, and all these things were made, decisions are made in your Son's name, Jesus Christ our Lord.
Amen.
We do have an amendment to the agenda. We want to permission to go for bids for camera updates at the road bridge. Motion?
I make a motion, we end that.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
So that item will be probably on the tail end of this meeting. Looky there, we're in the last half of 24. So, enjoy it. Consent agenda's been published. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Opioid committee, we met. We wanted to hand out $200,000 to deserving persons, groups, and it came up to $195,000, $196,000, and those three groups were fully funded for the request. So it really worked out well. We have about $500,000 before this in the fund, and we didn't want to go over half of what we had. And when we made that consideration, we had 400 in the fund. So this will be handed to those people and to those groups again. I don't want to say people. And they will spend it, and the committee graded the system, and they really appreciated what these groups will be doing with the funds. So, motion to approve the committee's recommendations.
I make a motion, we approve the committee's recommendations, totaling awarded $195,997.17.
Second?
I'll second that. Harold, will we get like what the awards are for, like a printout on that, what they actually?
Well, it's a multi-page application, and I have those,
Okay.
so I can show you those. And, yeah, they go into great depth with what they do and how they do it. And the sheriff's department, that is a machine. That total amount goes to one machine. It's the MX908, and it's a machine that you can put a sample, a minute sample of a material on the screen, and it'll tell you what percentage of heroin it is and what it's mixed with.
It speeds up their process,
Yeah,
isn't that right, Dan?
Yes.
Matter of minutes, where it was taking
We
20
normally
weeks.
send to the lab, and the prosecutor has to wait maybe as much as 6 to 7 months for that information to come back. And do it on
This
the
is
spot.
immediate.
Yes.
It's almost at the point of arrest.
Yes.
So it's an immediate thing. So it's quite a machine, but that's one machine there. That's $73,000.
And all three projects meet the criteria
Every
for the
one of
settlement.
them. The sheriff's department, the committee wondered if that would go through the audit, since it was a very specialized thing.
I think absolutely, if it helps them, because it was, when it came out, the sunlight came out, it said that it was going to be used on funds that were affected by the opioid crisis. And you don't think the sheriff department has been affected by the opioid crisis, and
Well,
number of people, and number of arrests, and number of costs.
We
I don't think that's.
we questioned whether their application would go through the audit. We know we'll be audited. And the auditors came right back and said, yes, this is safe. We're good. We don't worry about this at all. So we just immediately put that in with the group, and that's where the total came out.
Well, we were talking about with the opioid money when we knew we were gonna do this with Dan. It actually, that's where it all starts, right there when you arrest and bring it in. I mean, Mike, you know, I mean, it's pretty obvious when you bring them in, their issues they have. We were looking for some way to help.
Yes.
Like in the medical and all right there when they bring them in at the door, you know, the process. That's where it begins.
Our main purpose with the MX908 is that at the time of arrest, we can analyze the sample or the narcotic that we get and get a result, whether it's fentanyl, methamphetamine, heroin, or a mixture of heroin and fentanyl. It will break down percentage if they're mixing heroin and fentanyl. With that, the prosecutor's office will file at that time, instead of waiting, the Missouri Highway Patrol Crime Lab is 20 weeks to get a test result of your submission of whatever you put in. With that, the prosecutor's office can get these individuals into a drug court sooner, and then instead of waiting 20 weeks, we can start the process now to get into drug court for rehabilitation, into community partnership or behavioral health, or the drug court, so they can seek treatment sooner than later. And this will help us speed that process up a lot.
For stronger prosecution too.
Yes.
Well, a lot can happen in 7 months, can't it?
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Well, and we're finding that within that time frame, we're continuously rearresting these individuals for the same, possession charges. If they're in treatment, hopefully we can curb that and not have that issue.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Yeah.
Just want to point out that the auditor's office will be providing the oversight for the expenditures to assure that the appropriate funds are going as was submitted by the application.
Followed up on did what they said they'd do. Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor of approving this set of recommendations, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, request a bid, interview systems, for detectives and jail.
Nick Jones, IT Director. We're just wanting to upgrade the current system detectives have at the jail. It consists of 4 cameras and 2 microphones in 2 different rooms, and there'll be a server with large amount of storage on it to store the interviews, to take off and attach my case files.
How much time should a large amount of storage last?
The one we have now lasts 10 years.
Okay. And it's same size or?
We'll probably get a little bigger.
Okay. Okay. Motion? Request a bid.
Make a motion that we request the bid for the IT department on the interview system for the detectives at the jail.
Second?
Yeah, I'll second this. Hey, Nick, I wanted to ask you though, like, on this system here, say we request for bid, where will the money come to pay for this?
It'll come out of the IT budget.
IT budget, okay, and we're really doing this to speed up where it doesn't happen like in the past.
The system we have now is like I said, it's from 2010. It's started throwing a couple errors. We've got it moved to a different server for now as a temporary, but we need to update it with the camera qualities.
Is this like the same, is this system's full or is it just?
It's just old. It's
Okay.
older, it's the hard drives.
We're getting ahead of the game here.
Yeah,
Get it in.
exactly.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Hey, Nick, while I got you here, let's do the amended agenda too. And that was where, you wanted to update the cameras at the road and bridge.
Yeah, we're going to go out for bid for updates on the cameras out of Road and Bridge. Right now, I've got a call in to Brock Miller of Colin about the system that's out there. It may possibly be the system that's there is a newer system and we might not have to get new cameras. I just haven't heard back from it. There's an admin password, but no one knows the password.
That's the unrecognizable boxes out there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's a DVR for the camera system, but no one knows the password.
Okay.
So hopefully Colin will get back with me, they'll have the password and we can set all that, push it through. We should be able to use most of the cameras that are already out there. I know there was some new, some old.
Still, yeah, there's about 5 still on the building.
And so, we should be able to use some of those, so it shouldn't be a full complete.
Is it already wired, Nick, or has it got updated, or you don't really know?
I don't really know. I anticipate probably the wires that are there have been cut somewhere along the road. So
Plan on running you with Cat 6?
Yeah, we're gonna do Cat 6. So.
Okay. Okay, motion?
I'll make a motion that,
No,
Okay.
yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the bid to update the cameras at the, road bridge.
I'll second.
Question? Yes.
Is that coming out of IT budget or road
Yeah.
bridge?
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Nick, we're done with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Thank you, buddy.
Okay, additional earthquake insurance. This is, these are the rates with and without terrorism coverage. So, as you see, it's due in July 6th. So, motion?
I'll make a motion, we, purchase the additional earthquake insurance, total value of covered property is $39,000, but no, but we're not paying that, sorry, to the county clerks, 18
Well, okay, the question is, do we want terrorism or do we not?
Sorry.
There was less cost on terrorism this year, not Iona. Or as we call it in the southern part of my old saying, terrorist. Terrorist. We got this terrorist season.
Well, it's about $350 add-on.
Yeah, it's a $300-some-odd add-on, and this size of.
What, I know we've discussed this before, what do they consider a terrorist act that we have to have this?
That's
Well,
gonna be
if
the
somebody would bomb one of our
interpretation,
business.
Okay.
Buildings. And,
Whether he's an American citizen or not.
if the purpose is to terrorize the community, I think we have domestic terrorism, and some of the, since last week they reported there was over 400 people that were on the terrorist watch that have already come through. It's totally up to you. If you remember last year, I think the auditor, it was quite a bit difference to cover the terrorists. This is $300
So,
on this size.
with the,
So your motion
terrorism
So your motion is
with the, terrorism coverage for 18,506, sorry.
Second?
I'll second.
Questions? All in favor of this additional earthquake insurance? Please say aye.
Aye.
With terrorism coverage. Okay. I'm gonna jump in here with a departmental report. They've set the beams at the new bridge out at Cedar Run. There's the old bridge on the bottom and the new one as it is developing on the left side.
That's
So,
correct.
John,
We set beams last Wednesday and Thursday. I think this is a picture from Dave. We couldn't get him out in the rain on Wednesday. He did come out when it was nice and sunny on Thursday. We set 9 beams Wednesday, 9 beams Thursday. They're all complete. So now we have to grout all the cracks that you see between the beams. All the pins that anchor the beams to the wall. And then we still have some concrete and asphalt work to do. And then install the guardrail on the edges. So several weeks it'll still be closed.
several.
Several weeks.
Okay, I thought you said a couple of weeks, okay. Okay, well, that's where it is, and it's,
very impressive.
It was. Each beam weighs about 29,000 pounds.
one truckload per beam.
One truckload, yeah. So you can see the tractor trailer sitting there facing west. They would pull in the creek, turn around in the creek, and then back up to the train, and we would pick them off the truck and set them.
That was, yeah, and, I did not get the pictures of the day before, but I heard everybody was soaked from head to toe, except for your crane operator. He
Except
was
for the
not.
crane operator, he was pretty good. There's some 1.5-inch threaded rod called transverse ties that go in the middle of the beams, and they anchor each other together as well.
I have
So
a lot
they've
of-
kind of witnessed how that goes together in the process.
Well, I would like to say, John, I think you guys, people in the county appreciate we can build a bridge ourselves like this. It's very nice you guys can do this. You're capable of doing that.
Well, I know
What is the possible savings compared to what it could have cost?
about 600,000. We had an engineered estimate. The bridge was 900,000, and I know we'd asked you guys for 300,000 of the ARPA interest. I think right now we're at about 220,000 that we should.
Still got some concrete.
And
We
if you
still have
look,
some concrete and some guardrail, but I think we're gonna come in under that 300,000.
and if you look down on that picture, it'll show you why this needed to be.
Well, and this bridge is capable of handling a tractor trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There will not be a load limit on it. The
It
old
could
bridge,
be an issue eventually one day that we have to use it.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
What's the
So-
length of the bridge?
What's the what?
What's the length, 120?
I think it's like 110.
110?
Yeah. The old Cedar Run Bridge, it was just a concrete structure that the farmers from that area built in 1950. So they had a smooth way across the creek. And the school districts will not travel a bus through moving water. So a 1-inch rain, there's water over the bridge. So this will allow the school buses to
And
have
those flat
an
rocks.
alternate route.
And those flat rocks up above the bridge there can go flying at any time.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, John.
Thanks, Lisa.
We have a special guest in the house. Mr. Mike's gonna give us a report.
So where do you need me? Am I supposed to be over there?
Microphone.
Okay, I'll get you. I get put right up
Not
here.
you, ever as good as a
And who you're
microphone.
with.
I think they want me to report a little bit of some of the things. The governor signed the state budget just the other day. And so for the county, there's gonna be $7 million coming in to expand the gas line between Deloge and Bismarck. And that's gonna help us because there's a company called IKO that's gonna go over there where Trap Rock is, gonna create somewhere between 70 and 100 new jobs at an average salary of about $50,000 a piece. I think they said it's gonna be over $9 million in salary per year coming out of that, brand new jobs that were not here in St. Francis County before that. And here's the best part, Bismarck owns a gas line, and that company's gonna put several million of their own dollars into it along with it. So it's not all state money doing it. State's putting some in, we got some through grants, and then the company's gonna put some into this gas line we don't even own. That's how bad they wanna do that and come in. The other part of it is there won't be trucks tearing up the road. They're gonna put it on rail over there and ship it directly out to their factories. I think they're in Texas and Tennessee, if I remember correctly. And they're gonna ship them directly there. We also got $500,000 for our Deloge to go on the east side of 67 over there so they can expand their water and sewer lines over there, hoping to bring more businesses into that east side. They've not had it, so they're gonna put about $470,000 themselves is, Deloge is. We're gonna bring about $500,000 from the state, and hopefully I'll bring in more tax dollars as we can expand those businesses out there. So the governor did it right in the budget. He really helped us a great deal, and I think he's always steadfast in infrastructure and workforce. And if it can bring in those two things, so he did us right. I'd answer any questions if you got them.
Bismarck's also getting some wastewater money too.
They are. DNR kind of gave Bismarck some bad information, admitted they did, and the state's gonna make it right to help them with their wastewater issue over there, dealing with, if I remember right, I think it was radionuclides and how they handle that. And they're gonna be able to get that money to come in to rectify that situation also.
About how much is that?
Dan, I don't want to misquote right off the top of my head, but it's a substantial amount of money they're gonna come in to help Bismarck with that, and that little community can use that help. But with IKO coming in over there, that's just gonna be a real shot in the arm. I talked to the head of IKO the other day, he said it looks like the 1st of 26 they'll be open. So, and if I remember right, they signed a 99-year lease agreement on that over there, so they're not coming in and just gonna be gone in a few years, they plan to be there long term.
Another thing, because that gas line is going into IKO, another company is going to locate in our county, just a little bit farther west from them, because they need the gas too. And it'll be another large company there, so.
Well, and along the way, I think they're gonna be able to drop more gas off to a few of these communities that will probably get a lower gas price for their gas along the way as another residual that we get from that project.
Well, the one thing great about the IKO, they actually had bought a different place, which would have been Wolf Mountain, but they ended up going into Trap Rock. And the one thing Harold always says, we have a product here that, the mineral that they need for this. So, you know, it's looking good for the future. They have another 475 acres that they can mine later on that they do have mining rights for. So it's pretty set. Looks good for the future for that.
It does, and if you've ever dug anything here, you know one thing we have is rock. And so we're gonna try to make use of that. If you don't know what IKO is doing, I'll sit down. I'll tell you real brief. What they're gonna do is take a lot of the tailings and things that have been over there, and they'll maybe use some others. They will grind this up, they heat it to a really high level, and then they put some stuff on it, I don't know what all chemicals they put on it, and they bake those on. And then they're gonna ship them to their factories where they'll put them on shingles, both commercial and real estate shingles. And so they're gonna make all the little granulars you see on shingles over there and ship them out. And we have plenty of that rock to use for that.
We appreciate your effort for that. I know the governor on Friday vetoed $1 billion of these projects. And got just dinged a little bit, which is good. Keo had called me and said that the Bismarck project was on the bubble, and earlier in the week that made it. The only thing is, I think it's still in the budget where it comes through us, and we have to make sure that Bismarck gets an on-time contract with the IKO to make sure they're coming before we take that money from the state and implement that. So we appreciate your effort there.
Thank you.
Well, and then that's like Kevin said, our representative represented as well during this period. And there's a few individuals in town that help, and I think with you guys really need to be applauded for helping us get this.
I was gonna say, Dale Wright and Elaine Gannon worked hard on this, so I'm here today, but this was team effort. One thing we're kind of lucky on, we always work together as a team, and no one cares who gets credit, so I don't deserve all the credit. I'm not trying to get the credit. We all three, I just happened to be here today talking to Louie, and they asked me if I'd talk about it, but everybody up there was working hard for this.
And we appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
When I saw that headline about billions being cut, I got a little bit antsy on that, but thank you.
Commissioner, I might point out to the public too, there was a number of county officials that lobbied Jefferson City, Office of Administration, Dan Howell, et cetera, to pay attention to Bismarck gas line. And I think, as Kevin will testify, when you start sending emails and phone calls to Jefferson City, they start paying attention to you.
Well, it's a wonderful use of that money. It will help a lot of people. Okay. Thank you, Mike. Okay, the MU extension report is usually the second week of the quarter, but they've asked to be delayed until the 23rd. Next regular meeting right here on next Tuesday, so all welcome. We will be closed tomorrow. No, Thursday, sorry. And
Department. So we have over 40 people that have voted so far, so we need to get that in. And
you gonna tell us how they voted?
No, we're not. No, we'll find that out later. We can tell you how absentees vote because we separate them from everybody else. We do. People ask that question too. Those are not open until the night after 7 o'clock. They cannot be legally open until after 7 o'clock that night, so that nobody can't influence anything, the absentees. So we have a team of Democrats and Republicans that go in there and open them and count them at that point. So
it is a secret election.
Now your machines, when you vote in the machines, does it just stays locked until?
Right. Well, we have thumb drives on every machine, and every machine, because I see where there's a meeting on hand counting next week with somebody, but those machines are counters. They're not connected to the internet in any way. All they do is program the test deck this time. They send you a test deck that you have to feed into the machine while there's Democrats and Republican team watching every time. And the first one took over an hour and a half because there's so many possibilities. That machine has to be tested that it would count every possibility on that ballot. And since you have 10 gubernatorial and 6 Secretary of State, every possible combination is tested to make, and then when they're done, they say we're done, and they say, what's the machine say? And the machine says this, and the judges then says that correct. If not, to show that it tests them to the exact. Every machine is tested like that, and then post-election, every machine is tested again to make sure that the machine is counting correctly they even put missed up ballots so to make sure they were picked out correctly, and so a lot of people don't know that there's a team over there that's already tested one for the absentees, so the in-person that they're putting them in, and then 2 weeks prior to the election is when you test all the other machines. But I just thought that the test thing this time was so huge, that it's, and then you got to test it both Democrat and Republican, every combination.
Is there any public comment, by the way? Any other departmental reports? Dan?
Just July 12th is the annual chocolate golf tournament. Be out at, Crown. And, we usually raise about $11,000 at that golf tournament for Chocolate County. So good cause, and a lot of area and St. Louis businessmen and ball players, different folks will be down here to play golf that day and have a good time and raise some funds for the kids.
I've got the issue, not why Dan's here. I know, Mike, we gotta bring this up. When we started building Owl Creek, we actually, our whole plans was to make sure that we clean it up, and they've started the process now. I was gonna get Dan, Mike will tell you, we had issues over the weekend. The people going under the gate, somebody got hurt over there, and Mike, did you want to speak a little? We've got people. I think by the time the gate was open, the ambulance is there. We've already cut 3 lots. There were 6 cars, right?
Yeah, well, just while the 10 minutes while the ambulance was there, there's 5 vehicles that come in. But I think our biggest problem now isn't the people driving in, it's the people just cutting around the gate or cutting through.
We had an issue, Dan, where they're slipping under the gate with their bikes or walking down there, and actually one of them almost got run over this morning by you. And we're gonna have to, I mean, I gotta get with you some way. If we start ticketing somebody to get it out now, so I think word will travel fast. We have gotta keep them out of there.
That's dangerous.
We know we have an issue, yeah. And it's kind of common.
Up there, tell people ahead of time.
Say it again, Dan.
I think maybe we need to put some signage up there to let people know.
Yeah. We've got signs up, but if we're gonna have to make them bigger, or maybe a presence. I think maybe if we get over there and maybe issue a few trespass, something we can do and get the word out quick now to try to keep them out.
Very important they know that they were trespassing.
That a lock gate wouldn't keep them out, I understand.
I mean, we definitely will get with Mike, Dan, I'll talk to you after this, we're gonna have to figure something out, to get a handle on it.
Which is ways,
I suggested 4 cars bolts on the gate, but they didn't. They didn't go with that route. Okay. Any other departmental reports? Okay, does anybody know a Carter Buckley?
Oh my God.
That is him.
Well, hold on, he wasn't talking either?
Well, that's been quite a few years ago.
74.
The only thing is, they spelled his name wrong. Should be with
Yeah,
a K.
I thought that would be.
Yeah.
But that's what it is in the article there.
Oh my gosh.
But believe it or not, back in the day when we were young, you'd actually have wheelie contests.
Yeah.
Well, that's what this was.
Yeah.
And he went almost a full block and he didn't win.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.